We're looking back at a show that aired for just two brief seasons from 1980 to 1982, a program that seemed harmless, quirky, and utterly of its era. The formula was simple. Two advertising men disguised as women to rent an apartment they couldn't otherwise afford, living in an all-female hotel with all the attendant complications. This premise proved enough to launch some careers while others would quietly recede from public consciousness. In the years since the final episode aired, four members of this ensemble would pass away, leaving behind a gap in the entertainment landscape that has only grown wider with time. One actress would live into her 70s before succumbing to illness. Another would die in her 60s, a third in her late 40s from cancer, and yet another in middle age from the same disease. This retrospective examines the fates of those who were part of this forgotten sitcom, tracing their trajectories from that initial broadcast in late 1980 through decades that would reshape their professional and personal lives in ways both anticipated and entirely unforeseen. The name most prominently absent from these proceedings requires no introduction whatsoever, having become one of the most successful actors in cinema history. We begin our examination of Bosom Buddies and those who inhabited its confines. Number 1, we have Tom Hanks as Kip Wilson. When this show premiered, Hanks was an unknown commodity, an understudy plucked from the off-Broadway theater world and thrust into the unfamiliar glare of network television. He played Kip Wilson, who adopted the female pseudonym Buffy to live in the hotel, and the role showcased a natural comedic timing that would serve him well in the decades to come. The early 1980s were formative years for the young actor, but Bosom Buddies, despite its prominence in his resume, was merely a stepping stone. His real breakthrough would arrive via an unconventional route. A 1982 appearance on Happy Days where he kicked Henry Winkler through a plate glass window impressed the show's head writers, Lowell Gans and Babaloo Mandel, who would later offer him the lead role in Splash. From that point forward, his ascent was nearly inevitable. Forrest Gump, Castaway, Saving Private Ryan, Philadelphia, A League of Their Own, these films would establish him as one of the most bankable and respected actors of multiple decades. 2 Academy Awards would eventually grace his mantelpiece. His legacy encompasses not merely the roles he inhabited, but the manner in which he elevated every project through quiet professionalism and emotional authenticity. Hanks transformed from a sitcom supporting player into a figure whose very presence in a film signaled quality and sophistication, an achievement that stands as testimony to his commitment to the craft. Number 2, we have Peter Scolari as Henry Desmond. Scolari arrived at Bosom Buddies with theater credentials and departed with what would become lasting television recognition. He played Henry Desmond, who adopted the female alias Hildegard, and his chemistry with Hanks became the engine of whatever humor the show could generate. The two men shared an intuitive understanding of comic timing, and their willingness to embrace the absurdity of their premise, two men living as women, became central to any appeal the program possessed. Scolari continued acting steadily throughout the 1980s and beyond, earning an Emmy nomination for his recurring role on Newhart and later appearing in shows like Girls, for which he won an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. Unlike Hanks, Scolari never achieved the magnitude of film stardom, but he remained a consistent presence in television throughout his career, a character actor with genuine ability and range. On October 22, 2021, at the age of 66, he passed away following a 2-year battle with leukemia. His death removed from the world a performer whose gifts, while perhaps not recognized with the same fervor as his former scene partner, were nonetheless genuine and honestly deployed in the service of entertainment. The friendship between Hanks and Scolari, formed on the set of this humble sitcom, persisted across the decades and remained one of the enduring connections to emerge from the show's brief existence. Number 3, we have Donna Dixon as Sonny Lumet. Dixon came to Bosom Buddies with a modeling background, having been Miss Virginia USA in 1976 and representing the Wilhelmina Modeling Agency. She played Sonny Lumet, a resident of the hotel, and the role served as her entry into television acting. The exposure she gained from the series would prove instrumental in her subsequent career development, though she never pursued acting with singular intensity. After Bosom Buddies, she appeared in small television roles on shows like Who's the Boss and Moonlighting. and she landed a memorable part in the 1992 comedy Wayne's World as the Dream Woman. Her most significant film role came in Dr. Detroit opposite Dan Aykroyd, whom she would marry in 1983. The subsequent trajectory of her life became intertwined with Aykroyd's career and their three daughters. Dixon stepped away from the professional spotlight to focus on family, a choice that was entirely hers and one that speaks to different priorities than those that consumed her peers in the entertainment industry. Her work on Bosom Buddies remains a curious artifact of her professional life, a footnote in a biography primarily defined by marriage, motherhood, and private existence rather than public performance. Number 4. We have Holland Taylor as Ruth Dunbar. Taylor arrived at Bosom Buddies with substantial theatrical training and experience, having studied at Bennington College and performed in various Broadway productions following her 1965 debut in The Devils. She played Ruth Dunbar, the demanding and imperious boss of the two male protagonists, and her performance in this role established her as a capable television actress. Unlike some of her castmates, Taylor would build a consistent and increasingly prominent career in television over the following decades. She received an Emmy Award in 1999 for her role as Judge Roberta Kittleson on ABC's The Practice, and she would garner 4 additional Emmy nominations for her extended role as Evelyn Harper on 2.5 Men. Her film work included a notable role in Legally Blonde, alongside Reese Witherspoon, and appearances in The Truman Show and Baby Mama. Taylor also pursued theatrical work, writing and performing in the one-woman play Anne in 2013, which earned her a Tony nomination. Her career represents a model of steady professional growth, of an actress who understood her craft deeply and deployed it across multiple mediums with equal facility. Bosom Buddies was merely the beginning of a professional journey that would span several decades and establish her as a performer of genuine distinction and range. Number 5, we have Telma Hopkins as Isabel Hammond. Hopkins brought to the series a background in music that distinguished her from her castmates. She had been a background vocalist on numerous Motown and Detroit Records productions, and had achieved greater prominence as a member of Tony Orlando and Dawn, the pop group that achieved multiple #1 hits during the 1970s and performed on their own variety show from 1974 to 1976. On Bosom Buddies, she played Isabel Hammond, an aspiring singer and hotel resident. Her character was partially written to accommodate her musical talents, and the show became her entry point into television acting. Following her time on Bosom Buddies, Hopkins would continue building an acting career, most notably as a cast member of Gimme a Break, where she played Adelaide Addie Wilson alongside Nell Carter from 1983 to 1987. She also appeared in Family Matters and numerous other television programs throughout the 1980s and beyond. Her trajectory demonstrates the capability of performers who possessed multiple skill sets to navigate the entertainment industry with greater flexibility. Hopkins remains living and continues to work in television, maintaining a career that began decades ago and has provided her with consistent professional engagement and stability. Number 6, we have Wendie Jo Sperber as Amy Cassidy. Sperber came to Bosom Buddies with film experience, having appeared in I Wanna Hold Your Hand in 1978 and demonstrating genuine comedic potential. She played Amy Cassidy, a resident who becomes romantically entangled with one of the protagonists and serves as someone partially aware of the deception. Her performance on the series was energetic and engaging, and the role should have positioned her for greater opportunity. After Bosom Buddies, Sperber appeared in Private Benjamin and notably in Back to the Future in 1985, playing the role of Lorraine McFly's friend Terrence. She appeared on numerous television programs and demonstrated capability as a performer. In 1997, at the age of 47, Sperber was diagnosed with breast cancer, which seemed to have been successfully treated initially. In April 2002, she revealed that the cancer had metastasized throughout her body, and she endured experimental treatments including brain radiation therapy. She died on November 29, 2005, at her home in Los Angeles, having lost a prolonged battle with her illness. Her death occurred at age 47, removing from the world a performer whose years in the entertainment industry had been marked by genuine talent and professional persistence. Before her passing, Sperber founded weSPARK Cancer Support Center in 2001, an organization dedicated to providing free emotional support and assistance to cancer patients and their families. Number 7. We have Lucille Benson as Lily Sinclair. Benson was an established character actress who joined Bosom Buddies in a supporting role, playing Lily Sinclair, the hotel manager. She replaced the original character of Darlene, who had been portrayed by Edie Adams in the pilot episode. Benson appeared in 17 episodes of the series during the 1980 to 1981 season and became a recognizable presence to viewers of the show. Her career had included work on numerous television programs, and she came to Bosom Buddies with professional experience and proficiency in her craft. On February 17, 1984, Lucille Benson passed away at the age of 70 from liver cancer. Her death occurred less than 3 years after the show's cancellation, removing from the world a performer who had dedicated her later professional years to steady television work. Benson's role on Bosom Buddies represented a portion of her broader career in character acting, a career that had provided her with consistent work and professional purpose throughout the television era. Number 8. We have Edie Adams as Darlene. Adams was already an established television personality before Bosom Buddies, having achieved fame as a successful comedian, actress, and singer who was prominent throughout the second half of the 20th century. She had won a Tony Award and received an Emmy nomination, and her cigar commercials had made her one of the most recognizable television celebrities of her era. When Bosom Buddies was being developed, Adams was cast as Darlene, the hotel manager, and she appeared in the pilot episode that was filmed for the network. However, when the pilot was sold to ABC, the network chose to replace her character with Lily Sinclair, played by Lucille Benson. This decision meant that Adams appeared only in the unaired pilot, a role that never reached the viewing public. Adams continued her career for several more decades, making sporadic television appearances on programs such as Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, Macmillan and Wife, and Murder, She Wrote. She passed away on October 15, 2008, at the age of 81, ending a career that had spanned more than 50 years in entertainment. Her involvement with Bosom Buddies remained a minor footnote in a comprehensive professional biography. Number 9, we have Bert Convy as himself. While Convy did not appear as a series regular on Bosom Buddies, his presence permeates the cultural context in which the show existed. Convy was one of the most prominent television personalities of the late 1970s and early 1980s, having transitioned from Broadway stardom, where he originated the role of Cliff in Cabaret and appeared in Fiddler on the Roof, to becoming the host of multiple game shows including Tattletales, for which he won a Daytime Emmy in 1977. He hosted Password and later produced and performed in Win, Lose, or Draw. Convy represented the broader culture of game show hosting that dominated television during the era when Bosom Buddies was airing. In April 1990, Convy collapsed and was diagnosed with a glioblastoma multiforme, an inoperable brain tumor that forced him to step away from his professional commitments. He died on July 29, 1991, at the age of 57, from the complications of his illness. Convy's career trajectory from Broadway performer to television game show host represented a particular brand of entertainment personality that characterized the 1980s, a figure of charisma and broad appeal who bridged the gap between legitimate theater and popular television entertainment. The show itself arrived at an uncertain moment in television history when the sitcom format was attempting to find new variations on established themes. Bosom Buddies represented an approach to comedy that embraced physical humor, drag, and the particular style of absurdist comedy that characterized certain programs of that era. The show ran for 2 seasons and 37 episodes before being canceled due to insufficient audience retention. Despite its brief run, the program served as a launching point for at least one actor, Hanks, who would become one of the most significant performers in motion picture history. For others, the show represented a foothold in television, an opportunity to establish themselves in the medium and build subsequent careers. For still others, Bosom Buddies remains a curious artifact of their professional biography, a role that never achieved the prominence or lasting recognition that they might have hoped for at the time. The mortality that has taken several of the show's cast members serves as a reminder of the brevity of human existence and the manner in which careers, however successful they might appear at any given moment, are ultimately circumscribed by the finite nature of life itself.